We know it will not surprise a lot of you that we've decided to do this together. And just because we know most of you still can't tell us apart, my name is Hope.
So I guess that makes me Grace. After deciding to deliver our sermon together, we both knew immediately that we needed to reintroduce ourselves. Understandably so, we have a unique perspective on a lot of things growing up as twins. And by the way, we are fraternal twins, not identical. I most definitely do not look like her.
We know it's funny, but if we had $1 for every time we were called the wrong name, or better yet, just called twins, we could make a donation to this church so large it'd be financially secure for years to come. Seriously though, names are important, not just our names, but everyone's name. The Bible says, "Do not fear, for I have redeemed you, I have summoned you, by name you are mine." We said we needed to reintroduce ourselves to you. Reintroduce because we are both introduced to you formally at our baptism. During the ceremony, our parents were asked our Christian names, Christine, Hope, and
Josephine Grace. For parents, naming their children has to be extremely stressful. Our parents fortunately have a formula for naming not just Hope and I, but our older sisters as well. All of us have a family name and a name that either comes from the Bible or represents something important in their faith. For example, our sisters, Sarah and Hannah, are named after characters in the Bible, and their middle names are family names. My first name comes from my father's favorite aunt, Josephine, and my middle name comes from my mother's aunt, Grace Winchester Denton, who, by the way, used to sit right over there and give us butterscotch candy every Sunday morning.
My first name, Christine, comes from my great-grandmother, and my middle name comes from another special aunt of my mother. However, if you ask my mother why Hope and Grace, she'll tell you that they were the most beautiful words that she's ever heard, and they perfectly describe her faith. My father would say, "I hope by the grace of God we have no more children."
So you see, names are important, but that got us thinking about other names we are called. Twin, girls, Hope Grace, Grace Hope. I remember in first grade, our teacher, Andy Green, called me Miss Whitehurst.
Wait a minute, she called me Miss Whitehurst.
See what I mean?
But what about other names? How do we refer to people in our lives that we meet every day? Friend, classmate, sister, brother, coworker, teammate?
Or how about bully, mean, gay, stupid, skinny, fat? Names can go from respectful to just plain mean too quickly. When names become a way to hurt someone or single them out, we step away from how God calls us to act. Names can be used to repress a certain population, and oftentimes than not, this can be based on something as simple as your skin color, religious beliefs, or sexual orientation. We as Christians cannot allow this to continue.
One of our most important things that this church has ever done for us is allow us the opportunity to attend mission trips and the Montreat Youth Conference. Montreat has opened us to different experiences through meeting new people. Every year, we learn something new through the theme of the week. This past summer's theme was Lift Every Voice. Throughout this year, we have learned not only to lift our own voices, but to lift God's voice and help others lift theirs too.
But what if you do not know what to say? What if the words will not come out, or you're afraid your words will be taken the wrong way? Then just do something, anything.
Sit with that kid at lunch who has no friends.
Stand up for your friends when they cannot stand up for themselves.
Serve lunch for those who need it.
Clean up someone's yard who no longer can.
Play games with children with disabilities.
Read to someone whose age may present challenges to reading on their own.
Pray and pray some more, not just for yourself, but for those who need it most.
Show patience, kindness, and acceptance, always, and when you fail today, try again tomorrow.
Experiencing these things as a youth group has taught us that actions speak louder than words, and has brought us together more of a family than just friends.
So what has God called us to do? We are not always sure, but he has called us to do something, to rise up, stand up, and show up.
These are just some things that we have learned by fully participating in this youth group and being members of this church, life lessons we will never forget.
So in a few months, we will leave this place and step out into a world that will change us in ways we can only yet imagine. How will we react? Will we lead or follow?
Will we speak up or stay silent?
Will we be the ones challenging others to walk with God, or will we walk away from God?
These are some scary prospects, but we do know that this place and all of you in it have given us the foundation to make those choices and hopefully bring us closer to our personal relationship with God, and one that will make you proud.
We are thankful for all the experiences, both the good and the challenging, but we are most thankful for our names:
Hope,
Grace,
sister,
daughter,
granddaughter,
youth,
friend,
Christian,
servant.
child of God.
Thank you.
I don't know what to do with this. I'll just put that right there. Good morning, everyone. My name is Tucker Harrell. I'm not a member here, but I'm blessed to say that I'm in this youth group of this church. I would like to start off by thanking Miss Kelly Parker for getting me into this youth group. How I ended up in this youth group is quite a story to tell, but for now I'll make it a long story short. My freshman year, I was making bad decisions and hanging around the wrong crowd. Well, I ended up getting in trouble, and one day Miss Kelly told my mom about this youth group. And at the time, I was facing so many problems as a growing up teenager. I was hanging around the wrong crowd thinking I was fitting in, when in reality I was making a fool of myself. When I started coming to this youth group, I was shy because I knew all the people in it were better than me. God, the phone keeps falling. I forgot where I was. And then as time passed, I actually felt welcome. And then they became my go-to. Every Sunday, I would become closer and closer with everyone. And I finally felt like a member of this youth group. Basically, everyone in this youth group is my best friend. I'm sorry, everyone. My first trip I went on this youth group was cross missions. I was nervous, but it ended up being one of the best trips I'd ever been on. Then I was introduced to Montreat. Montreat made me realize that no matter what you go through, you will always have a part of you that sees beauty in life. Montreat became my favorite place, and from the time I left, the first time, I was already counting down to go again. Unfortunately, I can't go this year due to starting my career as a welder, but a part of me will always be at Montreat. This youth group has helped me a lot, and every person in it will always hold a place in my heart. I want to give thanks to this church and all the people in it for letting me become a part of this youth group. And again, I would like to give thanks to Miss Kelly Parker for introducing me to this youth group and helping me become the person I am today. I would also like to thank Mr. Ben Kane for being, there he is, for being the great preacher and friend that he is. And I would like to wrap up by thanking Miss Maddie Buddell for being a great youth director and friend. Thank y'all.